Right. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. It's High Priestess Jamila. So I'm not gonna be here long because are you gonna come back for the rest of it? Can you like maybe you know what? I think I'm good on the coffee. Okay, thank you, hon. So I was actually um watching a movie. Okay, I was actually watching a movie and got interrupted. So I thought since I was being interrupted by spirit for some reason, I want to ask all clients to please refrain unless you are in another country and you're emailing me, but please refrain from texting me or either doing too much to mess with me during the witching hour. That is not advisable. I will black candle whatever you tripping off of, but it depends. Okay. If you're attacking me, but most like probably 99% of my clients would never attack me. But I wanted to come and talk to y'all witches about how to deal with mentally ill clients. Okay, and I think this is very important, and also clients need to listen to this. Now, demons do create mental illnesses. You know, certain spiritual demons and stuff will create those mental illnesses. And this is one of the reasons why I decided against doing love and breakup work. I'll probably it'll probably be years and years before I even offer that kind of work, and it will be only under specific situations with people and clients that I have been knowing for a while. Okay, I have to be really comfortable with you because um, a lot of times when it comes to love work, there's certain things that you have to remember. First of all, if it's been a year or more and the person is with someone else, you're going to have to wait. Now, another thing that I won't do anymore is I won't work with clients because I've noticed that the last couple of problematic clients that I had sort of came from other practitioners and not just ones on YouTube, but you know, people that are not known on YouTube, I'm assuming. And so I think that if you go to one spiritualist and you behave a certain way, and then you come to another spiritualist and you say, oh, you know, oh, this other spiritualist was threatening me and blah, 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 blah. And then you come to me and then you get to threatening me after I've helped you, because I'm going to be honest with you. I am extremely disappointed in this one client because I helped him tremendously and I didn't even have to. Okay. I didn't have to help this man. First of all, when you come to us to get any kind of work done, especially if it's love work, it is not our fault that that person left you. In fact, I don't even want to hear any complaints when I do the love work for you, and then a week later, you're threatening to kill her and her new boyfriend. Okay. So that's a definite no no. That's an obvious no no if you call yourself trying to pull somebody back in. Now, I think that if it's been a year or more, I'm going to assume that if you are dead set on breaking them up with their current partner, that you're just trying to get revenge, because it's obvious if it's been a whole year, going to come back to you just like that. They're with somebody else. Okay. So that's number one. If I do a love ritual for you and you call the people, I'm sorry, and you're calling and threatening to kill people, pretty much gonna undo any of the work. Okay. So, everybody isn't gonna, especially if they're with somebody else. Okay. Then also there's certain instructions that need to be followed. Do not talk to anybody in the target's family. Stop communicating with any of them. I kept telling them, stop communicating with this person that's in her family. Okay? Stop doing it, because actually the person in the family was there to make sure that they stayed broken up. Okay? So here's another thing. I can't guarantee that that person is going to come back to you by Christmas. I don't ever make that guarantee. I tell you that we can try for it, but if it's been a year, you're threatening to kill her, she's with somebody else, what more do you expect? Okay, and then also another thing, if you're calling me, please don't call me back to back about just random stuff. So, this is the reason why I will not do that anymore. A cleanse, a generational hex remover, I'll be happy to do that for you. I am not going to be doing anything, especially the breakup work. I'm not doing any more breakup work on anybody. It's not necessary. Okay, it's not it's and really it's not worth it. Now, if I were to want to do my own personal breakup work on people, then yeah, I could. But as far as in the business, I won't be doing that ever again. Because I think that it brings in way too much negativity than it's worth. And then also I'm leaning more so towards the cleanses, fertility work, generational hex removers, cleanses, unblockers. I'm not doing that. And I don't care what anybody says. You cannot fix witchcraft. I'm sorry, you cannot necessarily fix a relationship real quick just with witchcraft. Okay, now here's another thing. You have to be patient while that stuff manifests. This is not like on the show Charmed. If I were doing a cleanse on you and exorcise you of demons, you're going to feel an instant result. Okay. But when it comes to somebody else's heart, and when it comes to dealing with somebody that you're doing love work on, and you're telling her family that you're going to kill her, how much money you think you could pay to bring that person back to you? And see, this is why I said it's unbelievable. It seems like a weird it seems like a weird circumstance to me. It seems like one of those fake clients. Nobody could be this messed up, but I can tell you this, that it looked like it, because this same client, I talked this client out of committing suicide. And I didn't have to do that. I did it out the kindness of my heart. And then you come back to me and you're upset with me. Well, first of all, it ain't my fault that that person doesn't want to be with you. When you came to me, you were already broken up with that person. Y'all were broken up for like over a year. And for you to come sideways at spiritualists like that, like, you know, like you're at Best Buy or McDonald's buying drive-through spell work, that's not the way that it works. This is a whole other person that you're trying to bring into you. And if you're working on yourself, then I can control that a little bit. And I told him, I said, look, you need a cleanse. You need a cleanse. I told him that several times. He never got a cleanse from me, never got a hex remover from me. Okay, so I'm not responsible for your emotions. I am supposed to be doing the work for you, and that is it. And his bad emotions kept stopping the work. Like, for example, the love work got done immediately. He calls me a week or two after as I'm getting prepared for the breakup ritual and tells me that he doesn't want to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't offer no refunds. He's like, oh, yeah, I know. But I feel bad. I would feel bad for breaking them up. So evidently, there was some spiritual lines that were being crossed. Okay. But then he calls me back a week later saying, oh, okay, well, I want to go ahead and proceed with the breakup work. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to have to give me a minute to prepare for your ritual because you told me that you weren't going to do it. Also, at that point, you're going to end up owing interest. If you call me with some drama and some demons and some parasites and you're a client, I've got to charge you for that. So I ended up having to remove a hex from him because he was attacking me so bad. I had to remove the hex from him. After that, he was okay. Then he contacts me and tells me, oh, well, she got engaged to the other guy. You failed. All of this within a span of 2 months. I'm like, well, hun, first of all, that's not my failure at all. Your failed relationship with this person is not my fault. Also, I tell clients all the time that could take a while. It's not going to be as quick as you want it to be. Okay, it's not, especially given all of those obstacles. Come on now. You're just making your situation worse because now you're attacking me and my spirits is going to protect me. Like, and he was, clients, when clients get to making all those threats, what, you need to learn how to get along with people. First of all, that's why the woman left you in the first place, because you kept tripping with her. So I can't do anything about that. Your negative emotions that you're going through. And so here's what I want to tell you. I found out that this person did not need to do the work that they were doing. They didn't. The person needs a generational hex remover removed from him. So that is what he will get. He will get a mini gen hex removal ritual. That is it. He could not deal with the negative ancestors of her other man. He couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it. He kept attacking me. And I was like, well, I don't understand why you're attacking me. I'm not the one. My ancestors are not fighting for this woman. It's this other man's ancestors. So that's why he kept wanting to back out of the work. Oh, I feel so horrible. Then he goes through this whole thing where he was going to commit suicide. Okay. I spent 2 hours of my time talking him out of committing suicide. 2 hours. Okay. Of my time. Um, it was totally unfair. And I guess everything that he wanted to say to her, he was saying it to me. And it's like, dude, you got to move on. I'm sorry, you got to move on. And then also a lot of you weird kind of people that don't understand magic. If it's been a year since you broke up with somebody, okay, it's been a year since you broke up with the person, right? You ain't even talked to that person and you come and get love work on them, but you have a contactee within that person's family. And you contact that person after the love work is done and threaten to kill her whole family. I think he said I threatened to kill everybody. I blacked out. I don't exactly remember. You're going far out of and literally I dropped him as a client at that point. I was like, I don't even want to speak to you anymore because you're creating too many problems. You didn't need no love work, hun. You need some kind of cleanse and you need to work on yourself. You need to work on yourself. So I'm very, very suspicious of clients that don't want to work on themselves. I'm pretty sure that this woman probably told him the same thing. Also, the woman was 20 years younger than him. 20 years. Like it looked like, hold on a second, guys. It looked like she was about 20 years younger than him. So the guy that she was with, he's her age. Okay. And, he's older. So, first of all, you can't force this person to be with you, especially when you're pretending to be respectful at your first meeting, but then you start acting crazy. You start threatening to commit suicide, and then you're threatening people. That's definitely going to piss off a spiritualist. You have no right. I'm not your girlfriend. I even told him, don't call me at all hours of the night. This guy was calling me at all hours of the night. And I work with male clients, and they are never that disrespectful. Like, I'm like, dude, it is not my fault that you can't control your own emotions. And I'm not going to be your freaking dumping ground. And if I label you as a parasite, like you're a parasitic client to where I can't even sit here and relax with my family and drink a cup of coffee because you're, harassing me and making all of these threats. I mean, what sense does that make? So when you clients flip out and start taking your crap out on spiritualists, we don't have to deal with you. It would be different if I didn't do the work for him, which I did. But before I could even, he kept telling me to stop the work. Before I could even get the breakup work complete that he wanted, he literally opened up a whole other can of worms. So now I'm realizing you need a cleanse and you need a hex remover. That is what he got. I am not going to break up that young woman from her man. I am not going to do it. But you are going to get a hex remover and a cleanse. Because it is not, you are the one that chose that work. You wanted the work. I don't necessarily refuse people, that want the work that they want. And he appeared to be somebody that was emotionally stable. You chose that work. The reason why you're acting a fool is because you know it ain't meant to be. That's why you're upset. Now, he was also one of those clients that will light candles. The clients, I'm telling you, don't ever light no candle on me because my spirits will mess you up. Don't do that. They're going to make sure that backfires on you because you're being extremely unfair, especially when I literally talked you off a ledge. It is not a part of my job description. If I am doing breakup work for you, which is black magic, by the way, I always go over with clients and tell them that if you need additional protection, you need to purchase it. But protection wasn't going to do him any good. He was depressed and lonely. How is that High Priestess Jamila's fault that this woman doesn't want to be with you? She doesn't want to be with you. Obviously. If it's been a year, if you ain't heard from somebody in a month or two, sometimes it can be over. If they ain't said nothing, they have not attempted any type of communication with you, and they're not even thinking about you. In fact, they're trying to forget about you. They're not thinking about you. They're not trying to bring themselves closer to you. They're trying to get further away from you. So this is the reason why I decided, because I don't want to deal with this. I like to deal more so with small businesses, other witches, teaching witches. I will not involve myself ever again in somebody's love stuff. And also, guys, I'm not going to as far as with court cases, I can't do the custody cases. I can do cleanses and stuff, but as far as and protections, but as far as me trying to interfere with that. That's not my place. And so I learned that too. So we're gonna stick with the cleanses, the hex removers. In fact, I noticed that when I get customized clients that need like specific work, or and then I also don't want to necessarily, I mean, I will work with my clients long term. I will definitely do that. I have clients that, they come to me for, kind of hardcore for 3 to 6 months at a time. And then they kind of go their own way. And then they may float back and get a reading or whatever. So, I keep a very, very good relationship with my clients. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it is that, first of all, he had been trying to get work done for over a year on the case. Just to let y'all know, before he came to me, he was seeing other spiritualists for about a year. Okay. So, and that's why I'm very, very, very careful, and I'm upfront about that. Just don't bring me no problems. Okay. Now, whatever was done previously on the case that he was doing for over a year obviously was not working when he came to me. It wasn't working for a reason, probably because it just wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to say anything negative about those other spiritualists because I don't know those other spiritualists that he was going to see. Okay, I don't know them. Now, I did see that, what's going to happen is that she's going to eventually, I don't know, whatever the situation is, they seem pretty tight. They're trying for a baby. I think that if that's the case, so after a year, you have been dealing with this for over a year, and you just came to me in October of last year. You just came to me in October. It's January. So what do you expect to happen? And then also in between that, during the holidays, you were threatening to kill the woman. Clearly, it's not time for a reunion. And, so that's why I'm not going to get involved with it anymore. I'm not, in fact, I don't even do that many love spell clients for a reason. And the ones that I do, those people are not acting like that. They are not. And, I'm very upfront with people. I'm like, well, it's been a year since you've heard from her. Um, what I could see that was that he had messed up so bad that, probably she probably wasn't planning on coming back anyway. There was no thought process on that with her, and we can still bring it back together. But I think that even if they would have, it would have been a total waste of time. And in that case, then it's just time for you to find somebody new. That person just doesn't want to be with you, and you have to accept that. I mean, you can do the work. I mean, it's kind of like love. Your love cases are a lot more complicated than that. And it's probably not going to be a situation where that person is just going to come back to you like that, especially if it's been a year and this person has not contacted you in a year. I don't care if you're talking to somebody in their family. This person has not contacted you in over a year. So I am going to digress from those kind of cases because I find that those spirits can be very, very disturbing sometimes. I was utterly disturbed with the whole suicide situation. It was it was bad timing that he was calling me with that because I was actually sitting here trying to meditate, and he was trying to force his calls to come through so that I would pick up the phone, and I'm like, I am busy. So when I do your ritual for you, that doesn't mean that, you call me all day and night. First of all, you're not my only client. Of course not. Second of all, what good is that going to do? I have a family, I have a life. Don't start, and please don't bother me during the witching hour. Clients that do that kind of stuff, our spirits can tell. And like, I felt like, some of these clients will light candles on you, and it's like, well, why would you light a candle on me? Because they have trust issues. They have really, really bad trust issues, and you're messing up the work in the first place. Your trust issues are going to completely ruin everything in your life, your money, and your love life. If you continue to have trust issues, you are not going to have anything. It's so important for you to have trust. And then also, when you're using or utilizing magic, it's important for you to believe in what you're doing. Why would you go and pay somebody all that money if you didn't trust them? That's a lie. So for me, I am digressing from that, and getting closure on that. I don't want none. I have asked Santa Muerta to bring me closure on that situation. The man got what he paid for personally, because but in reality, he's going to have to get some kind of therapy or counseling somehow. And if it's not going to be from a spiritualist, because we can counsel you to a certain degree. Okay, if it's a situation where you are needing medication or something like that, I can't prescribe nothing to you like that. I can prescribe herbs and herbal remedies. But as far as helping you with some kind of chemical imbalance that you may have, I can't do that, because the only person that I'm going to be calling at 4 o'clock in the morning is probably me drunk dialing my ex or trying to get in touch with somebody. You shouldn't be. And then these clients will accuse us of being unprofessional while they are breaking our boundaries. You call me during the witching hour at 3 o'clock in the morning, or you doing something to me or talking crazy to me, you gonna catch some curse words. Don't expect me to be professional while you are stepping outside your boundaries. And so I just don't have those problems. Like I said, I don't wish anything badder on him, is what he is what, no more than what he wishes on me, because I don't have to take that energy. I haven't done anything to you. And to me, it just, I could feel that it wasn't love work that he needed. It's self-love. Self-love is what he needed, because he was ready to commit suicide over this woman over the holidays. And so literally, it was the weirdest thing. And for you to do that to me for 2 hours, I didn't get paid for that. And then also the after effects of that, you calling me after you get out of the hospital from trying to commit suicide. And then and so the extra time and energy, I didn't have to go through that inconvenience. And sure, I'll be there for a person, but like, if I was there for you at a time that you were your lowest, and I literally saved your life, like, this dude called me high out of his mind and drunk out of his mind, high and drunk. If it were not for me, he would be dead. I don't need for you to say thank you, even though he already has. So if you notice, like, it'll go back and forth, because I keep every single correspondence between you guys. And then sometimes I even record the conversations. Sometimes. Okay. If we're having issues, otherwise there's no need for me to do that. But if you're texting me, thanking me, oh, thank you for getting me through that, and that was really, really hard. Because technically, if I'm doing a cleanse on you or a hex removal, then I'm responsible for your emotional stuff. So that's what he paid for. He paid me for his emotional issues, is what he paid me for. Okay. So, having to deal with that for 3 months, and for you to just go and say, and just complain. Well, goddamn, complain about your life then. Okay, I'm sorry. Complain about your life. So, and a lot of clients will act as if, if you, I mean, I've had a couple of bad clients that doesn't mean anything. They act as if, oh, you're not a good spiritualist and all this stuff. It's like, I actually, you need to be a little bit more patient. And then also your impatience with me is hilarious, especially after you had someone else working your case for a year and she ended up moving in with the man. So you need to go back to whoever you were working with a year ago and talk to them. Why is it that these spiritualists that you were working with previously that you claimed were threatening you, which now I see why they were, why don't you go back to them and ask them why your girlfriend ended up, or your ex-girlfriend ended up with somebody else living in the same house with them, moving in with this man? Hell, after a year, all you have is patience. And you know what? I did not do no breakup work for him. No, he ended up paying for the a hex removal reversal, because the night that he was thinking about committing suicide, there were several demons around him. And I don't have a husband. I'm here by myself. Not saying that I'm weak, because y'all know I'm not. But, I had to deal with that situation, and I handled it, and I saved this man's life, which I don't know how much is your life worth? $1,000, $2,000? So, you and people that are going through emotional problems should not be doing black magic. You shouldn't be. Now, I will tell you that as a woman and as a witch, there have been times when I've been emotional, but I don't have emotional problems. I'm just an emotional person. I'm just a very passionate person that speaks my mind. Of course, everybody gets sad sometimes about things. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty normal. Sometimes you may be melancholy. Sometimes you may not be feeling your best, looking your best, but that's life. But, if somebody has done something to you, and, sometimes when you do black magic, you do have to be emotional, especially if somebody's attacking your person, because they're putting negative emotions in you. And, so what I'll do in that case, if you, like, for example, a client pays for work. They pay $900 for some work. And they contact me a week or two later, threatening to commit suicide, attacking me. I'm going to recognize that you need a hex removal and a cleanse. On some level, somewhere down the line, this dude got hexed, probably by those other spiritualists that he had went to. So this is why I'm extremely careful. And if you've had problems with another spiritualist, I'm probably not gonna want to work with you, because and that's probably, so just talk to me, because everybody that I have a bad feeling about, typically it comes out, but it's not. You have to be prepared to deal with that, because your spirits are gonna back you up. And in that case, you're being tested, and your faith is being tested at that point, because, that's why we're here to deal with situations like this. So I made an executive decision to get that stuff off of him. And then here we are 3 months later. He's still alive. He's still well. And instead of him appreciating that, what is he doing? Attacking High Priestess Jamila. And that ain't right, is it? Okay, y'all know that ain't right. Because I could have let that man, hold on a second. I could have let that man commit suicide. Okay, and I spoke to him for like maybe like it was a couple of hours that I had to speak to him, because I'm not going to sit up here and just, if somebody tells me that they're going to commit suicide, I'm going to be there for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to be cold-hearted. And coincidentally, I was not asleep at that moment. I was actually busy, and I stopped what I was doing and made sacrifices. So that's why my spirits will always take care of me. And, this is the reason why most of the time when clients get upset with me, like 99.9% of the time, they typically come back, they apologize to me. Normally, they do that. That's exactly what happens. Because in reality, it's not our fault that you are in the situation that you're in. And it's very easy to take your stuff out on us, but that is the wrong thing to do. Because we're here to help you. We're not here to hurt you, but when you start taking your stuff out on us, we have to protect ourselves. Okay. And typically what I'll do, especially if you done paid me some money, but see, he needs protection. He's being spiritually attacked. Okay. By more than one source. And God ain't going to put that off on me. He was basically deciding to put all of his burdens off on me. And that ain't right. And what do you think? Just because you're dealing with a witch, that you can just mistreat us just because we're witches? I don't think so. Because, I'm a kind person, and I don't get punished for being a kind person. People would love to do that. They would love to do that, but not to Jamila. I'm not going to have it, because I know exactly who to go to. Okay, when I start drawing that circle, when you get to tripping, because, and so basically what I did for him was I did another complimentary working, but mainly to get his stuff off of me and to get it off of him. And that's what you paid for. That's exactly what you paid for. Because you got to get rid of all that negative stuff that's making you want to kill her family members. You got to get rid of that first before you can even look at love with her or anybody else. Why would somebody be with you and you're threatening to kill them? And especially it's been a year. She like, I done moved on. It's been a year. And she's not making any attempts to contact him. And she may have been thinking about it. But then he called her aunt and threatened to kill everybody in the family, and her too, and her boyfriend. So, those things you don't do. And then also the reason why I told him to quit talking to her aunt is because they're watching him. That's the reason why I said, well, they're watching you. You need to kind of be to yourself a little bit, go into hermit mode. But see, if you're in a place where you're codependent, because you could tell that it was obviously codependency there, because he just kept calling me back to back, like literally like a day or so after he paid the money. I hadn't even received any of his supplies yet. And he was calling me back to back. Clearly, that would mean that you need a cleanse or something else is going on. And see, sometimes that can happen to where, clients, because it's basically an interview. There's certain people that I will not touch or do anything to. I just tell them I ain't getting involved with that. I'm not going to do that. I am very selective about the clients that I take. Okay. And that's not to say that I refuse people or turn people away. I never do that. But I'm going to be more stern with clients but he hid it. He hid all of those demons, and sometimes they can hide. But then about a couple of days afterwards, he started hounding me like a freaking hound dog. And I'm like, well, hun, I haven't even received your supplies yet. Are you okay? And so at that moment, if 2 days after I take you as a client, and I'm already having to use extra candles and I'm already having to do extra work, my spirits is taking account of all of that, because you can't get yourself under control. So, y'all be careful out here with these people and make sure that you keep candles on deck because that's not our fault. Whatever circumstances that led up to them breaking up, over a year ago, it has nothing to do with witches or spiritualists, you know. So that's kind of like the wrong thing to do to just come and take that out on us because that's happening. You know what I'm saying? Especially being that I'm not taunting you. It'd be different if I was throwing it up in your face. I'm sitting up here helping you with the situation. You know what I'm saying? Literally, interrupting, my peace and harmony and my meditation time to help you and talk you off a ledge. And people forget that. And I also think that people can become demonically possessed. And I just know that the way that I handle it is with a black candle. And, if I feel like that's how I handle it. It's not that we're doing work on clients or we're doing anything to hurt them because, I will make sure that you're taken care of as far as like, because I don't want nothing to happen to you. I ain't no crazy person to where I'm just going to be like, well, I hope you die, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to do nothing like that. And so, but if my spirits feel as though your negative energy is because I'm an empath. If you are going through that right then and there, if you are going through this heartbreak, people can die of broken hearts. Okay. And I didn't break your heart. She did. She broke your heart, not Jamila. So, like, I shouldn't have to take the negativity that you would like to throw at her. Does that make sense? And rarely do I deal with male clients. Rarely. I have a few, and actually just one. I have one male client. One. Okay. And, he even joins my Sabbats. And I think that that's why and then also, guys, when it comes to the Sabbats, you don't have to join them, but it is best to join them for the full benefit. Keep in mind, there are universal energies that everybody is dealing with, and I can't sit and babysit you all the time. I don't have time to do that. I can't babysit a grown person and make sure that your emotions are right. Like that's not my job. Unless and now if you pay me for a cleanse and you contact me a day or two later talking about you ready to commit suicide, something ain't right. And I have never had that happen. My cleansing clients are some of the best ones. They are spiritually responsible. They are getting the best help ever because those cleanses are phenomenal. His whole world would change if he would get a cleanse or if he would be open to it or agree to it. So, and that's what he'll get, and even when there's certain things that I do for you that may take a long time. Okay, and I'm not taking a lot of those customized spell work clients anymore. It's going to be pretty standard stuff: cleanses, hex removers, crown of success remover. I'm sorry, not removers, crown of success, money unblockers. Money work, fertility work. On select cases, well, now this is what I will do for the love work. What I'm willing to do is binding outside influences, which is sort of the same thing as removing a hex, but it's a little bit different. I've got different, choices that people can get on that. But if you notice, I am not offering that anymore because of him, because of this client, which is fine with me because It was way too much negativity. And what spirit was telling me was that it's too intrusive and it's not worth the negative energy that it creates doing breakup work. Because I've actually done it before, and especially if you have somebody that's throwing that stuff back, you never know what people are into. There are people out there that you can believe that go to witches and get spiritual work, or they could do their own work. So, just bear that in mind that um, we can't take the negative energy that is meant for someone else. You're raging against a spiritualist that you've only been working with for a month. Also, keep in mind that again, there was other spiritualists that were consulted in the situation well over a year ago that did nothing. In fact, the woman moved in with the man. So just bear that in mind, that if you know if you've been working on the situation for over a year, there may be some issues in that. And here's what I want to tell you: going to different spiritualists, bouncing around from spiritualist to spiritualist, is not the right thing to do. Once the work has been done once, that's all that's needed. You're doing overkill. Now it's overkill. You have done enough. Okay, trust me. Let the work work. It doesn't matter if it's 3 months from now, if it's 6 months from now. Um, Now I will tell you that as far as with the reunion stuff, he had messed that up. Especially, I told him, I said, I just don't know why you would do that. And I told him just to move on and leave her alone. Then you're threatening to murder people, and then now you're demanding that this breakup work be done on her and this other young man. And I just don't think that's right. I think that that's just doing it out of revenge, because what would make you want to call somebody and threaten them like that? So it just, and people that care about you, that want to keep you around them, if you do that, why didn't she call? He did all that and the woman still never called. Because my spells don't work? No, no, that ain't why she didn't call you. And probably if she called you, she would say to you, hey, you need to get some help. Now, I know that there are exes that will act funny towards you. That, you know what I'm saying? But it's like she's not saying anything at all or acknowledging him at all. And I know that that can be very hurtful, but you can't take that out on us, because that's just not the right thing to do at all. And just keep in mind that everything ain't gonna work like instantly, especially if it's been over a year since you have talked to that person. Like, no interaction, you ain't seen them, so that just, and I digress from all of that, because this year the main focus for me is going to be cleanses. So I will only be offering cleanses, hex removals, healings, um generational hex removers, meditation classes, tarot classes, witchcraft classes, money spells, money unblockers, road openers. Okay, so we're gonna we're gonna just stick with that. And probably as far as with court cases, I do still take those. But as far as like certain court cases, I'd rather just stay away from stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more trouble than what it's actually worth. And people will pay money for that stuff, and then if the outcome is not exactly what they want, then they're like, well, I paid all this money. And it's like, well, listen, it just was not meant to be. And then also some clients, they're not completely honest. They're not completely honest, or maybe it could be a tricky spirit. The point is that, um, especially with child custody, I'm not going to, no, no, no. God, no. I learned my lesson from that. And it was more trouble than what it was even worth. I felt like I should have got paid more. I know that sounds weird, but if you were in my position, you would freaking understand. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say. As far as everything else, I just don't feel that because I have enough problems of my own when it comes to my love life. And then also, I don't want to do any more love work for nobody else or anything like that because I need to get my own love life together. Now, love group rituals, like we got a lot of that stuff coming up for February. So there will be like love group rituals, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like, oh, I want this person to come back to me. When was the last time you talked to him? A year ago? I'm gonna choose not to deal with that more than likely. It just depends because I have clients that have been with me for years, that have been very happy with my love work. And, maybe they may contact me in the future or something. And maybe I'll be willing to do that. But for like new clients and stuff like that, I don't know, y'all, because after that whole suicide scare, I was like, oh my God, like I am holding these people's lives in my hands. I was like, wow. And it was depressing. It was around the holidays. I didn't want to deal with any kind of depression, and I'm single. I'm single, so why should I have to deal with that? I feel like people, though, seriously, that are in that mindset, I feel like they don't appreciate their life. And it's time to start appreciating your life. That would be the wisdom and the lesson learned from this story. Okay, seriously. I feel really bad for him, but I think that he's going to have to accept that she's gone and she's not coming back. Okay, and I do offer healing services for that. When clients are going through that, when and obviously you don't feel like you belong with that person anyway if you're threatening to murder her. Like if you wanting to end somebody's life, that's not love, that's bondage, that's spiritual bondage. And love is love. People like romance, people like to, have that fresh and new feeling. If you're trying to reunite with somebody and, you call their family and you're threatening to murder them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You're threatening to murder the target that you claim that you want to be with. Like, that's obvious. Okay. That's kind of obvious. And some of these men be thinking, oh, and you know what? Men do use work on women. Men that holler off and hit a woman or do something negative to her, the way they get her back is they put some kind of domination love magic, or either they able to get her back, but she was gone with somebody else. So, and then also, how are you gonna get back with her when you never see her and you don't even have friends in common with her? So it's like it's like the connection that you had blocked your number because you threatened to kill her. So, I don't know. I just feel like there's some clients that have those emotional issues, And I think that it's probably a good idea to not to say, I'm not going to do that, but some of them will hide. They will. I can tell you that I've been tricked by a couple of clients into doing stuff for them that I probably wasn't supposed to do. Okay. So, and that can happen too, but not too often because most of my clients are getting cleanses, and they're trying to unblock themselves. When you get the generational hex remover, that's going to clear up about 50% of your love issues. And I know that it's important. I know that I'm going to do a follow-up ritual for myself this year because I feel like my generational hex is where it's like you go into this state of bondage to where you like, well, I'll be alone because I'm hurt. And then you'll sit there and you'll waste your time and waste your time and waste your time. And it's not to say that you're supposed to just jump into another relationship, but, I feel like if you are stuck on a relationship that's not stuck on you, then maybe you need to look at what is the deeper root of the problem. And then maybe things will progress for you and you'll move forward quickly. Especially a lot of you women that are ready to have more children. You're ready to get into a successful relationship with somebody that loves and adores you, and you want to move on and you don't want to stay stuck to a man that just didn't appreciate you in general. The generational hex removers are amazing for that because that is what's happening in a lot of the cases. A lot of the cases. And it also depends on what happened with your parents, too. Some cases, everybody is not generationally hexed. Everybody isn't, but typically, when people are generationally hexed, all of the spirits in and around the family is leading you to this ultimate result, which is a repeating cycle of somebody else's trauma and misery in the way that they decided to handle their situation. So I know that sounds complicated. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. Y'all have a happy Saturday. I will see y'all later. Just clients, beware. Don't do that to spiritualists because trust me, our spirits will protect us from whatever it is that you try to take your stuff out on us. And also, please don't always think that it's gonna literally I warned this person that it could take a while. I said that's not gonna happen overnight. It's not gonna always happen overnight. You have to be patient. If you can't be patient, then move on and find somebody else, cut the cord and keep it moving. Okay, especially if the woman's trying to have a baby by the man. She's trying to have his baby, and the one of the people in the family was telling him that, like, I think she had a miscarriage or something last year. And and yeah, when something starts to drive you crazy, then you got to realize that maybe, just maybe, that person's image is being used to destroy you in some kind of way, and maybe you're being exploited, and you need to take some time away from that situation. And definitely don't call and contact spiritualists during the witching hour, because my spirits are going to make me light a candle on you. Okay, to deflect and to, now if you ask for my help and I'm going to do work for you, like I said, I felt like the executive decision in that situation was to go ahead and try to work off those demons that are on him too. Because some of these clients, they got demons. Okay, and sometimes I have to do that free of charge. Okay. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, y'all. Peace and love to all of you guys. See y'all tomorrow or see y'all later today or something. Maybe. I don't know. I need to get some rest today. So I'll see y'all later. Peace and love.